Hey there, my name's Mitch. I'm going to do an introductory series for Fields of Fire, one of my favorite games ever. Why? Because there's tons of value in the box. You get mission after mission after mission, multiple locations. Replayability is fantastic. Setup is quick. It's a card game. It's solitary. You don't need to hunt down 8 friends to play. And it's just tons of fun. You never have any idea what's going to happen in any given game. The randomization is so incredible. However, the rules are a bit intimidating. So what I wanted to do is give you a 10,000-foot overview of different things in the game. We'll start out with combat because that's probably the most interesting part. And then we'll move on to command orders, movement, cover, vehicles, etc., etc. So let's start off today with combat. Again, this is introductory. 10 million rules will apply to anything I'm saying. Let's go over the simplistic version for now. All right, so basic combat, we have us versus them. So the first thing we want to do is establish what type of weapons that we have, because obviously an automatic weapon or a tank gun is going to be superior to, let's say, a handgun. So we need to sort of establish that right off the bat. So the first thing we have is a symbol on the left of the chit, which for this assault team is A, is automatic weapons. So now, if you look at his is an S for small arms. So let's establish the rate of fire, or how much lead is going which way. So an automatic weapon is going to give an automatic weapon volume of fire, so this thing here, and we're going to be shooting that downrange at him. So he is receiving this chit of automatic weapons. Now you notice that says -1. Once we establish all of the weaponry, different attacks, etc., we come to a complete stop, and then we determine damage. And the damage phase is in the rule book, down here under the combat effects segment. That is 372. So right now we're just establishing the modifiers. Like in all war games, you have +1, -1, +2, -2, plus etc. And then you tally those up for who wins. So -1 is going to be a better for us, and it's going to be bad for him, obviously a negative modifier. So again, we have automatic weapons shooting down range, and he is receiving it. Now we need to determine the direction of the fire. So right now, we have us shooting at him. Obviously, he's going to be shooting back. So we flip this over, and the primary direction of fire, it's called, is both ways. So let's say that we have not spotted him, and he's hidden, right? Let's say, for example, he's a sniper, and we have not spotted him yet. Then the direction of fire would be him shooting at us, but then we would need to spot him because he's hidden, and we did not spot him yet, so it's just him shooting at us. But for this example, he's not a sniper, he's just a regular dude, and we're shooting both ways. All right, so now let's establish him shooting at us. Again, S is small arms. You're going to take out the small arms chit, and he's going to be shooting it towards us, so we are receiving small arms fire. So on our card, we'll have a +0, which is much better, obviously, than a -1. So right now we have the advantage. So you do add up the location as well. We're in the woods, which gives us a +2 modifier. He's in the marsh, which gives him a +1. So overall, he's at a big disadvantage, right? He's got a -1 and a +1. We've got a +0 and a +2. We're doing pretty good. So now let's say that we have an additional buddy over here in the cemetery. And this guy is shooting H, which is heavy weapons. So now we have a heavy weapons shooting at him. First off, we need to establish that we are shooting at him from multiple directions. Next off, we're going to upgrade the automatic weapons. So the best weapon wins for modifiers. So if I have automatic weapons, I have small arms, I have a tank, obviously the tank is going to be doing the most damage, right? You want to factor that in. So now we have heavy weapons, which is going to trump automatic weapons, and now he gets a heavy weapons downrange towards him. So you notice that's a -3. Once we determine damage by drawing a card and looking over in the right section here, the left section here, once we determine damage, obviously you'll see the plus modifiers are pins and misses. Negative modifiers are hits. This will vary between cards, but for this card, negative is worse, positive is going to be better. So the more negative we can put downrange at him, the better. So now we have these two. Because we have two people shooting, in addition we get another negative modifier on him called Crossfire. That's another -1. So if we tally it up right now, he's got -1, -3, that's -4, plus 1, that's -3. So if we were, for example, to draw a card right now, just draw it, a -3 would be a hit. That's really good. So let's look at us. Again, we're just rolling through an example. We have a +2, +0, so we have a +2. On this particular card, every card is different, we'd have a pin, which is better than being hit. So now say we have a different type of ammo going down range. Instead of assault, let's say we were using grenades. So you can see the G marker on here, engineers, we have assault, we have automatic weapons, and we have G for grenades. So that means we can toss a grenade. So let's simplify this a bit by removing him for a minute. And we'll remove the crossfire because it's just us shooting. So now, instead of heavy weapons, we're going to downgrade this. The heavy weapons guy is gone. And now we're back to automatic weapons, the A. But we can use a command to toss a grenade. So when you toss a grenade, you have to check if it's successful or not. So let's assume the grenade is, I don't know, midair. You have a midair grenade. So now we need to determine if that grenade is going to hit or not. To do that, we draw a certain number of cards. For this example, it will be 2 cards. And we look for a grenade icon. Right here, we do not have a grenade icon. If we were to draw this card, we would have a grenade icon. Now, the cards are used for multiple things. So you have a large variety of information on the card, but for right now, we're looking for a grenade. So in this particular example, we see a grenade in the 2 that we drew. We see a grenade. If you see a grenade on the first card, you have to keep drawing because of rules. So we have a grenade hit. So a grenade hit is going to be, for this example, again, rules, there are a variety of grenade things on here, as you can see. We'll say -4 for this example. So we have -4, -1, that's -5, plus 1, that's still -4, which is a lot of damage. That's definitely going to be a hit on almost any card. A -4 is going to be a hit on most cards. So this is really good for us to determine damage for him. Let's say the grenade misses. We draw 2 cards. We do not see a grenade icon. Now we have a miss. So a grenade miss is only a -1 instead of the -4, -3, etc., etc., etc. So now we only have a -1. So now I know what you're saying. Can we get this guy? If he has a grenade, can we throw that grenade as well as that grenade? Well, yeah, but if you have 2 misses, they do not stack, so you cannot have 2 missed grenades. You only have 1 miss. Those misses don't stack. So now what you're saying, now we have a missed grenade. So now what I want to do, we have 2 missed grenades. Now it only applies once. But now what I want to do is add more damage. I want this guy to be dead already. I don't have all day. So what else can I do? Negative modifiers are already good. What else can I add? You can also add something called concentrated fire. Concentrated fire, you use basically an action. You use a command /action to concentrate your fire. And then you're going to draw 2, 3 cards, etc. You're going to look for the icon that looks like that. And that's going to say that, yes, you did concentrated fire successfully. And that's going to be another -1. You can stack these. So I can have this team concentrate fire and this team concentrate fire. And now I have 2 concentrated fire on this particular enemy. So now I have -1, -2, -3, -4, +1, -3. Draw a card to determine damage later during the combat effects segment. For this example, -3 would be a hit. So let's go ahead and determine the combat effects segment now. And we would go around the table, and all combat is simultaneous, all damage is simultaneous. So now we would go around the table and determine who gets damaged, etc. So let's say, for example, we're going to concentrate on him. We've been concentrating on him. So now again we have -1, -4, +1, so -3 damage on this guy. So this particular damage card, -3, is a hit. You're going to draw a card to determine if you hit or not, if you pinned, or if you missed. This particular one is a hit. We would draw a different card, and we would look at the hit effect section. And for now, let's just assume here that we have a paralyzed. So now this particular unit is paralyzed. So we'll take his standard thing off. We'll put a paralyzed on. So now he is paralyzed. Lots of rules around this. He could also be transformed into a litter team, limited action team. He also could be dead. He also could be transformed into a fire team. So the different letters on the card will determine the effects of this particular hit. So what is pinned? You'll see pin here. Well, a pinned condition is this modifier right here. A pinned condition occurs both on a pin and a hit. So the entire top section of this card will include a pin. So before determining the hit damage on another card, you would use a pinned marker here, and then you would pull another card on a hit to determine the damage. If it's a pin, then you would just put a pinned marker. So what is pinned? Well, that has a lot of negative connotations to it, a lot of negative rules associated with it. You will notice one good part is you now get a +1. So in addition to this +1, I have another +1, so a +2 because I'm pinned. Obviously, there's a lot of negative things associated with that as well. So now he was shooting small arms at me, but now that he's pinned, he is shooting all pinned at me. And let's say that he was heavy weapons and he was shooting heavy weapons. That was a -3 on me. But now that he's pinned, he's shooting a +2, which is obviously really good for me and really bad for him. So you get 1 extra defense, you get a lot less offense. It really puts your firepower to crap. So a hit or pinned will make a pinned marker and an all pinned volume of fire. Now there are rules associated with if he's pinned, don't immediately adjust his volume of fire. You need to do that at a later stage. But for now, we'll just put and make like the later stage occurred. And now he's shooting all pinned. So how do you get rid of a pin if it's on us or whatever? There's 2 ways to get rid of a pin. And that is where you're going to try to remove the pinned. The next is a miss. So you have a miss here. Let's put him back at small arms. So he's not pinned. So now he is pinned because we got a 0, let's say. Now he is in a pinned condition. So now, to get rid of the pinned marker, you can have a miss. So let's say we shoot at him. We have a +3, and it turns out that that is a miss. Once you miss, now you remove the pinned marker. Now he's no longer pinned. Now his adjustment goes from all pinned back to small arms. So that's how the volume of fire, direction of fire, pinned, hit, miss occurs, etc., etc. And what about snipers? Snipers, they're little hidden guys. They're always undercover, and they're shooting at us. Well, snipers have two volumes of fire. One is small arms. You'll see the S there. And small arms applies to everybody except one unit who unluckily gets the sniper volume of fire, which is -3. So sniper doesn't shoot at everyone. He just shoots at one particular unit for -3, and then everyone else gets a small arms damage. Now, please be careful with snipers, because if you toss a grenade at him, he will in turn toss a grenade back at you, which is no bueno. So you want to be careful with snipers. All sorts of other rules with snipers too. If you manage to spot them, let's say I'm coming over here and I see him, he will immediately move out away from you and will continue to fire. So you want to be careful with snipers, always undercover, and they're really annoying. A lot of rules. See section 9.6 and 6.22 for the rules. I'll link those in the video. But snipers are really cool and a really good challenge.